Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to an airbrush review. Today's review we are looking at the new Mobius-Sp, which is a siphon feed. So let's move in a little bit closer and do an unboxing. Right guys, we'll have a look at the box up close. So that's the box that the new Mobius is in. So in front of the box you get 0.3, 0.5mm, siphon feed dual action airbrush. Mobius-Sp sits in the premium series here. To the back of the box you've got your breakdown of the brush, so you can see all the parts that make up the SP in clear on the back. So if you need to replace any parts, you can pick out the part that you need to replace it. Inside the box, the first thing that you will see is a quick start guide. I think these are really good if you're a beginner. You get stuck, you've got a big leaflet there that shows you all the breakdown of the brush, troubleshooting tips and things like that. So that's in there. So they're worth keeping hold of. Then you will get spare O-ring and washers. Right guys, I'll just give you a little explanation on where these spare parts go if you need to change them, if you get some problems. Now the first one's the white O-ring, the little solvent proof one. That will go to where I'm pointing now on the picture. And then your spare rubber black O-ring goes to where I'm pointing it on the picture now with the arrow. That sits behind the air cap. So that's where your two spare pieces will come into play if you need to change them. And then you get the brush itself in the box. So nice packaging, does the job. Nothing fancy, but solid packaging, so you're not going to worry about if it turns up, it's not going to get damaged. You get a spare needle and nozzle because it comes with two needle and nozzle setups. So we've got the 0.5 needle in that tube, and then this little piece here, this will be where your nozzle is and your air cap will be in there. And you'll have a setup in the brush itself. So we'll just set the brush up. That's how the brush will look when you spray with it. And this is what a siphon feed is like. You would put your paint in here. These jars unscrew. These are glass as well, so they're going to be solvent proof, so you're not going to worry about your paints going in these, and these will be easier to clean out because you can clean these out with like an aggressive cleaner to get the paint out. So you'd fill that up and then screw that to the bottom, and you clip that to your airbrush like that, and then clip your airline here. So that's how the brush sort of works. I'd usually bring the hand up and paint with it like that. You've got a slope in the body which gives you the feel of it's sort of keeping you sort of back away from the jar, so you've got enough room to put your hand round and hold here. You're not catching in the jar, you've got enough clearance on your finger to the jar there when you hold it. Trigger's sloped over, so you instantly sort of hold like that and then just sit over the top. Comfortable here because that part is touching your hand here there. You can move this round so you don't feel the gap. You can just turn it like that, so you've got the smooth part on the back of your hand. So comfortable to hold. You can take the crown cap off these on the front and work with the crown cap off if you're going right up and getting a little bit of detail down, or you can work with the crown cap on. So feel of it, it just feels solid. These style of brushes, I don't really use them. I do own one, which is an Iwata Eclipse BCS. And I've used it in certain applications, and I think this is where the siphon feed comes into play, depending on what genre of airbrushing you're going down. If you're going down the t-shirt painting route, these are the brushes to have, the siphon feeds, because they are very quick at changing your paints. If you've got a few of these jars, you can just chuck the jars straight on the bottom, blast through, and you've changed your colour. So they're very good for people that do t-shirt painting. If you're doing wall art, big murals on walls, again they're great for that because you can interchange your paints quick and you can get the paint down. If you're going into the model painting, they come in useful again for dropping your primers down because you're getting usually a big needle setup in these. Most of the siphon feeds are coming in like a 0.5. So it's for getting that thicker paint down and a lot more of it because you've got the bigger glass jars to the bottom. So where they sit in the airbrush world For me, I'd recommend having one because I guarantee you will use it. There'll be a time and a place where you'll use it. If you're doing portrait work, they're great for getting the body of paint down to block out areas quick. If you was working with one of these and like trying to do photorealism with it, it's not that sort of brush to go in and be doing photorealistic artwork with. It just, for me, it just doesn't feel right. You need another style of brush. So that's how I sort of look at a siphon feed, is your application and what you're going to be doing and what genre of airbrushing you're going down. But they are useful brushes. So we'll hook the airline up, put some paint in it, and we'll just see how it sprays. And I'll give you my final thoughts on the Mobius-Sp. Right guys, so that's how you'd set it up. You'd drop your paint in the glass jar like that. And then you're good to go. Now we're running 22 PSI, and you can hear that. That's coming out, that's like really fierce. It really pushes the air out. You'll find that with these siphon feeds, they really sort of huff the air out when you press on it. Just pull the paint through. Now this one's on the 03. And we've got thin paint. I'm going to take the crown cap off this, because this is 03. We can get up close with this. So that's the 03. Trigger wise, they always sound a bit clicky. Can you hear that when you press down? You get that clicky sound. But the actual responsiveness on it is really good. As I say, these are great for t-shirt painting. They really are, because you can just wallop the paint down like that. You can just wallop it down. Now this is the 03. If we put the 05 in it, you'd get a lot more paint out of it. You really would. It would absolutely hammer it down. But if you wanted a little bit of detail, it does it. It is responsive. I mean, I've got thin FW black in this, and it's getting down. So responsiveness, yeah, it's there, it's got it. I wouldn't be using this for detail work, I really wouldn't. I'd be using to block out backgrounds, getting some paint down, because they just do the job. They're like sort of like a workhorse brush, if you know what I mean. For miniatures, they're great because you could put your primer or your base coat in there. If you're basing up a load of miniatures, you just fill the jar up and you can just base your miniatures down in your primers or your base coats, and they're just like a workhorse. So would I recommend a siphon feed? Yes, I would. To have in your collection, they're worth having there. They really are. They're worth having a place in your airbrush collection, because they come out now and again and they get the job done. Whether it's a Mobius at the price range this is, or whether it's an Iwata Eclipse, they'll do the same thing. They really will. Both brushes will drop the paint down like that. One's more of a deer brush, which is this one, and this one is old. I've had this from like day dot, and it's still strong today, and these are still available. They'll both do the same thing. The Mobius feels to me like it's dropping the paint down how this would. A little bit finer and easier because we've got the 03 in it. But they're just one of them brushes that it's a workhorse. If you're a t-shirt painter, you will love it. You really will, because you can interchange your paints really quick. And that's where I see these brushes sit best, is like the t-shirt painters, the model painters that are not using them for detail, for primers, base coats. They just get the job done. So that's my look at the Mobius, guys. There's not really much more to say about it. It's just going to be a workhorse brush that you will have on the side in your collection, but I guarantee you will come to use it, whether you're a portrait painter and you want to get your background painted quick, perfect. If you're a t-shirt painter, wicked. It's the brush for you, because you can change these. Buy a load of these jars, mix all your colours up when you're away with one of these. Comfortable to use, job done. It's just a little workhorse cheap brush that does the job. So that's my look at the Mobius, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll leave links in the description to this brush if you wanted to pick one up. And thanks for watching. Drop your comments and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.